There's a new player in the Godzilla universe, and he might be the smartest of them all, or at least he thinks he is. And this player is none other than DC Comics' evil genius, Lex Luthor. Welcome to my channel, your daily portal for nerd news. Today, we are talking about the one and only Lex Luthor. In the world of comics, he's known for his unending battles with Superman. But what if he turns his genius towards an even greater challenge? What if Lex Luthor tried to control Godzilla? The mere thought of it sends shivers down my spine. Imagine the chaos that could ensue when the world is most brilliant. Villain sets his sights on dominating the king of the monsters. In today's video, we will explore the possibility of this epic showdown and delve into the mastermind plan that Lex Luthor might employ to gain control over Godzilla. If you love everything related to Godzilla, or if you're a fan of Lex Luthor, then make sure to subscribe, because today we re-dive in deep into the intriguing question: can Lex Luthor really control Godzilla? Stay tuned for an exciting ride. As we all know, Godzilla is not just any ordinary creature. He is a force of nature, a colossal, lizard-like monster with atomic breath that can level entire cities in seconds. Taming such a beast would be a daunting task even for the most skilled monster handler. But Lex Luthor is not just any ordinary person. He's a genius billionaire with an IQ of 192. That means he is smarter than 99.999% of the human population. So who are we to doubt his abilities? But how exactly does Lex Luthor plan to achieve this seemingly impossible feat? Well, according to some comic book experts, there is a way. It involves a plan so intricate and mind-boggling that it just might work. Here are the top 3 ways Lex Luthor could take control of Godzilla. No. 3. Brainwashing Godzilla. This is where things get really interesting. One way Lex Luthor could attempt to dominate Godzilla is by brainwashing him. But how do you brainwash a giant monster? Well, let me explain. In the past, Godzilla has shown signs of intelligence. He has the ability to communicate telepathically with other creatures, and even exhibit some level of Therefore, it is not far-fetched to assume that he could be programmed to obey commands if his mind could be accessed. And who better to pull off such a risky maneuver than Lex Luthor? With his vast knowledge of science and technology, Lex Luthor could develop a device capable of penetrating Godzilla's mind and rewriting his programming. Imagine a scenario where Godzilla becomes Luthor's obedient servant, carrying out his every command without question. It would be a terrifying sight to behold. No. 2. Genetic manipulation. Another approach Lex Luthor could take is to manipulate Godzilla's genes. By altering his DNA, Luthor could potentially influence Godzilla's behavior, making him more susceptible to control. This method would require extensive research and experimentation, but given Luthor's genius and resources, it would be a feasible option. Let's think about it. In the Godzilla franchise, we have already seen instances where certain organisms like the Oxygen Destroyer have been created through genetic engineering. Therefore, manipulating Godzilla's genes to suit Luthor's purposes would not be entirely out of the question. Now, you might be wondering why go for genetic manipulation when brainwashing seems easier. Well, here's the thing. Brainwashing carries risks. You never know when Godzilla might snap out of it and turn on his master, but genetically modified traits are permanent. Once the changes are made to Godzilla's DNA, they are virtually irreversible. Therefore, genetic manipulation ensures that Godzilla remains under Luthor's thumb for good. However, this also comes with its own set of challenges. You see, Godzilla's body is constantly exposed to high levels of radiation, which could interfere with any genetic modifications Luthor makes. To overcome this, Luthor would need to develop a way to stabilize Godzilla's DNA, ensuring that his changes are not washed away by the monster's radioactive nature. It would be a monumental challenge, but for Lex Luthor, no challenge is too great. Number 1. Technological domination. When it comes to taking control of Godzilla, brute force might just be the most straightforward approach. While brainwashing and genetic manipulation are risky, Lex Luthor could always rely on his technological prowess to overpower the king of the monsters. Imagine a scenario where Luthor develops advanced weaponry specifically designed to control Godzilla. These weapons could emit frequencies that disrupt Godzilla's nervous system, rendering him helpless. Or perhaps Luthor could create a device that emits a powerful electromagnetic pulse capable of shutting down Godzilla's bioelectrical systems. If all else fails, Lex Luthor could always resort to good old-fashioned combat. With his cutting-edge robotic bodyguards and armed vehicles, Luthor could wage war against Godzilla, trying to outmaneuver and overpower him in direct confrontation. Now, you might argue that going toe-to-toe with a monster like Godzilla is sheer insanity, and you wouldn't be wrong. But don't underestimate Lex Luthor's strategic mind. He has taken on Superman numerous times, devising elaborate plans and assembling powerful alliances to outsmart the Man of Steel. Taking on Godzilla would be no different. Luthor would analyze the monster's weaknesses, develop strategies to exploit them, and assemble a team capable of carrying out his vision. Of course, such an undertaking would require significant resources, both in terms of funding and manpower. But for a man like Lex Luthor, who is used to thinking big, this would just be another day in the office. The real challenge would be staying one step ahead of Godzilla, anticipating his moves and countering them effectively. It would be a battle of wits between man and monster, and the outcome is far from certain. But one thing is for sure, it would be an epic showdown that would leave us on the edge of our seats. Who do you think will win in a battle between Lex Luthor and Godzilla? Vote in the poll and let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to show your support. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to keep bringing you awesome content. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because we have so many more exciting videos coming up. Until next time, keep being awesome, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility.